So the saying goes that the fish rots from the head. It's definitely true about Sheriff Scott Isreal and the Broward County Sheriff's Department. So what I want to focus on is the fact that how long it took and the conduct of the deputies on the scene. The school resources officer, the deputy, whatever his name was, he, instead of going in and confronting the assailant, confronting the crazy kid, he actually stood behind two cars and waited till the neighboring police department, the Coral Springs Police Department, came in and resolved the situation. Now, they didn't even catch him in school. They caught him like quite a bit away from the school. Like he already like did what he wanted to do in the school. He was making a run for it at that time. So instead of saving many lives in the school, he decided to stay out there. And it was not only him; it was also 4 other deputies. But what I want to focus on is Scott Isreal's conduct after this came out. So he was all high and mighty during the CNN town hall event. He was very confrontational with Daniel Lorch and the NRA. He wanted to do some political maneuvering and hopefully get reelected because he was adamant about repealing the Second Amendment. He was definitely trust your police force, guys. You don't need the Second Amendment. Trust him and his deputies. They will save your lives. Yeah, fucking right, dude. This guy is a shitbag. This guy is a piece of shit. And it's definitely true that the fish rots from the top because this is a terrible leader. When he was pressed on it, you know what the first thing he said? He said, I'm the sheriff. My name is on the door. Basically, pretty much the buck stops with me. I'm putting that in quotations. That's basically what he's saying. But the buck doesn't stop with him because he is deflecting any responsibility for his deputies. This guy doesn't want to take responsibility. He doesn't care about the kids. He is trying to do damage control right now. He knows he looks bad. He's just trying to get reelected. He's comfortable where he was. Not only that, we can look at his what he did before. There were up to 26 calls to the kid's house, to Nick Cruz's house. 26 calls by neighbors. He was well known around the neighborhood. They did not do a damn thing. Instead of arresting him, they just let him do what he wanted to do. They didn't want that on the record. They didn't want to arrest him and have the record of him. Like, they work with the school board to lower down statistics for arrest of teenagers. Instead of having him on the system so he couldn't get a gun, even if the gun control people were all for it, all for banning people with these backgrounds to get guns. Instead of putting him in the criminal justice system where he belongs, or at least some help for him, they decided to ignore him and let him go. For what? For statistics' sake. They don't want to address this issue. So, let's start reading right here. Broward County Sheriff Scott Isreal said Sunday he would not resign in the face of criticism about his agency's response to the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Of course you don't, fucking pussy. Of course I won't resign. Scott Isreal issued CNN anchor Jake Tapper's State of the Union. Isreal said he's disgusted by he's disgusted by his own deputy. Yeah, I'm disgusted too, and I think you should resign. You're the leader. The buck stops with you. Resign. I was disgusted. I can't read this without being disgusted. So, CNN reported earlier this week that Coral Springs sources and police officers in the Coral Springs arrived in the site of shooting and were dismayed by the 3 Broward. So they knew these people were fucking up. They did not do the right. They did not respond correctly to the event. Isreal said that the actions of the deputies are under investigation and they should investigate them, see what's going on. But I have a feeling these people are just pussies because they took the easy way out. This guy resigned, got his pension instead of being fired and put under suspension without pay. He chose the easy. He knew he was gonna get kicked out anyway, so he chose the easy way out. Isreal said, as now, Peterson was the only that he had certain would have been derelict. He added that Peterson resignation after being suspended without pay. Our investigation to the point shows that during the horrific attack, while this killer was inside the school, there was only one law enforcement person, period, Isreal said, and his former deputy, Scott Peterson. Coral Springs arrived. A group of Coral Springs officers went in within, I think, about 4 minutes. Were projecting about the killer left on campus. Wow. Isreal did not dispute that Broward County deputies might not have entered the school and killer left because of the Coral Springs officer arrived. But he said that the point of the investigation, he had no reason to believe anything else have acted incorrectly. And he was so adamant on browbeating Dana Lorch during the CNN town hall event. He was so adamant on putting all the blame on her and the lawmakers on protecting the Second Amendment. But definitely, put your safety and faith in Scott Isreal and his deputies, right? Those are the people you want protecting your children. Don't burn the Second Amendment, guys. You don't need your guns. Alongside his repeated pledges, continuing investigating his agency's actions during the shooting, Isreal stood up for his own leadership in his department. I can only take responsibility for what I knew, Isreal said. I exercised my due diligence and amazing... Get the fuck out of here. Take responsibility. If you're a real leader, take fucking responsibility. He's just blowing smoke up his own ass. Amazing leadership. That's fucking bullshit. Law enforcement received repeated warnings about the alleged shooter before the attack, including callers saying that he might be a school shooter in the making. Asked about the repeated warnings, his office did not initiate a report after the school shooting in the making tip. Isreal said they were continuing to investigate their handling of the threat and warnings of the officer who handled it on restricted duty. Isreal also said that get to the bottom of the situation and release the results and are certain that they have all the facts. There is no timeline on and how fast we can do it, but we want to get it done, Scott Isreal said. This guy's a fucking pussy. Alright, so what I get from this is that he's complacent where he is right now. He likes his job. It's a nice job. It's a nice cushy job. And sheriffs are elected, so what I want to look on is that he worked with the Broward County School Board into lowering down the statistics for arrests on campus. So instead of going after the school shooter before he shot up the school, they decided to let him go. They didn't respond to any of the calls from his neighbors or any of the calls from down in Connecticut, the woman that knew him, the tip. They didn't respond to the tip because they didn't want to arrest him and they didn't want to look bad. But this guy definitely has a cushy job. He doesn't want to let it go, and he's holding on for dear life. And he liked swinging that stick and beating Dana Lorch up with the gun control debate. Now that the story's out, he's cocooning. He's trying to protect himself because he knows he looks much worse in comparison to Dana Lorch or the NRA. Because the NRA is now responsible for every goddamn gun in the United States. But he is responsible. He's the leader. And like he said, his amazing leadership. He's responsible for that, for his own county. And he let this attack happen on his watch. And he doesn't want to resign. That is absolutely disgusting. He should definitely resign. Because he's a piece of shit sheriff. And I hope in the next election, he gets upseated by someone better. Now, I want to digress a little bit. The Coral Springs Police Department are the real heroes here. They're the only ones who went in and addressed the killer. If the Coral Springs Police Department did not go in, the killer would have still been killing a lot more than 17 people. The pussies from Parkland Sheriff's Department, they did not do a damn thing. They stood aside and watched this happen. They cried for backup, and they let that shit happen. They're the only people responsible for that killing. This is why I don't trust these guys. you can't trust anyone. You gotta take responsibility for your own self. So guys, thanks a lot for listening to my rambling. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you definitely like this, share this on your page. And that once again, thank you for listening to my rambling.